let me check you out. What you
got? You want a little verse?
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't hot right now, but I'm warm. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Here we go, G. Verse 1.
All right.
Good looking, G.
For sure.
What's up? So, Paralives has been out for a bit, and I have thoughts. Now, there are things that I like about the game, and that's about all you're getting from me. If there's anything I've learned about giving your opinion on the internet, it's that the best way to do so is to not give your opinion on the internet. And while this perfectly crafted and curated piece on the game is my own genuine thoughts, also know that I am choosing to censor myself. Not because I want to be disingenuous, but because I know that my Caucasian constituents can get away with saying things a lot more critically than I can. If a completely uncensored review of the game is what you seek, may I suggest hearing it from the mouth of someone who is more socially acceptable to give it. But if you would like to hear my raw thoughts of the game, you can subscribe to my Patreon. It's not paywalled wisdom or anything, you're not really missing out on too much, but I simply just feel more comfortable speaking freely there. But with that said, let's get into the video. Paralives started out as an indie project by a single developer and has evolved to a small yet passionate team. And it shows. The game is absolutely gorgeous. Every aspect of assets, from the Paramaker to build mode to world building, feels handcrafted, and that's because it is. I personally love the juxtaposition of the art style between the paras and the world around them. It's distinct in a way that I really don't think will become outdated in the future. A lot of games tend to show their age over time, and I think that Paralives has crafted something that is both aesthetically pleasing and timeless. I can confidently say I'll never get tired of looking at this game. The Paramaker is exceptional, and I love how much freedom it gives you overall. There's the ability to make each para look unique and interesting, and it's a pretty intuitive system that they've managed to come up with. If you didn't know, Paralives actually started with a similar slider mechanic the way it is in The Sims 4, where you can click and drag on each individual body part and contort it to your liking. But EA somehow got a patent on that mechanic, which was devastating to the Paralives team since they were already implementing it into their game. This forced Paralives to rework their entire system, and they came up with something both really creative and intuitive to the player. I don't feel like enough people give them their flowers for that. You can adjust everything about your para from their height to their head size. And while I think I speak for everyone when I say I wish that there were more options for hair and clothes, what they have is great, and I'm sure that they plan on adding more. If there's one critique I could say, I didn't find putting blush on black paras very easy. The surrounding lines are more noticeable on their skin than lighter skinned paras, which made the blush more jarring and not something easily blendable. However, I was still able to make adorable paras of every shade and be happy with the result. My lowest level of expertise, I guess I should say, is build mode, but from what I've experienced, it's very fun. The flexibility it has is something we've never really seen before. You can resize practically everything. That, combined with the color wheel, gives endless opportunity. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but when you place a picture or poster down, you can actually upload your own images into the game. So taking pretty screenshots of your families or making band posters, anything, is so easy to do because it's built into the fabric of the game. The only real limit is your imagination, and I'm excited to see what assets they add over time. Is now a good time to mention that every adult para in this game is hot? I mean, gosh, Paralives, you make it really hard to want to stay faithful. Nor do I ever care if they're already in a romantic relationship. In the words of Salt and Peppa, I'll take your man. And I won't feel bad about it. Making pretty paras and homes aside, the gameplay experience is an experience. They made a choice. And a choice was made.
But you know, the stylist did a job, and the job was done. So we have that going for us.
And at first, I didn't get it. But after a while of playing, I've realized something. Despite all of the people who scream that you shouldn't expect Paralives to be like The Sims while also comparing it to The Sims every 2 seconds, I think that's actually true. We may have gotten it all wrong this whole time. You see, Paralives isn't actually a life simulation game. It's an RPG, which isn't a bad thing. I love RPGs. I've spent countless hours playing them and enjoying them. The problem isn't that Paralives has RPG elements. It's just that I was judging it from a life simulation game perspective. Choices the game gives you depends on your character's personality, skills, and level. So when people say that this game isn't The Sims, it's not. This game is Baldur's Gate. Since some people watching don't know how to have fun, of course it's not exactly Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate has quests and combat and mystical creatures. But do you see how I made a joke and now it's not funny anymore because I had to explain it? Okay, moving on. I spent hours viewing Paralives as a life simulation game and getting frustrated as a result. Once I stopped doing that, a lot of the design choices, especially through social interaction, started making a lot more sense. Hear me out. Your paras have a personality system. You can be gloomy, overjoyed, energetic, but its main function in the game isn't their emotions, it's what they can and cannot do because of them. If your para is energetic, you get a larger hunger bar. If you're a jester, you have a fun need, which other personalities don't have. This is similar to Baldur's Gate 3, but it's instead sorted by class. If you choose to be a sorcerer versus a druid, for example, it unlocks or restricts different dialogue options, gives different strengths and weaknesses, and even affects the way the surrounding characters treat you. In Paralives, you're not an omniscient being that controls every interaction, what it means, and what follows afterwards. That's what a life simulation game does. In Paralives, you're making choices presented to you by the developers. The game reads your character, shows you dialogue cards, and you pick one. You do not control the characters in your story, but instead operate within the confines of the stats you've selected for them. Paralives isn't asking, what do you want to do? It's asking, what would this character do? This is closer to what an RPG does. And if you find yourself especially attracted to the social system, you may be the kind of person who finds more joy in role-playing games. Paralives has quests too, just like Baldur's Gate. I'm just saying. Jokes aside, this actually isn't a bad thing, it's just a different thing. In hindsight, this is really cool. And according to the Paralives team, the social interaction system is staying the way it is. They're steadfast in their decision. I'm just waiting to find out what they do with it. But I find myself confident, or at least optimistic, that the team will make socializing a more fulfilling and rewarding experience than it already is. You see, the reason why games like Baldur's Gate 3 work so well is because it has a linear storyline. There's a clear beginning, middle, and end. You have to follow the story or the game just won't progress. But Paralives is an open sandbox with no real linear storyline. It's as if it's this sort of goulash of multiple genres. If done correctly and thoroughly enough, we could be looking at one of the most unique storytelling games. One that doesn't put itself into a box, but blends seamlessly between multiple genres. Thinking of the game through an RPG lens opens up this entire universe of possibilities. Imagine gameplay where a para will hold the memories of an argument with their spouse. If they're a high-level para, it makes it easier to have a healthy discussion and resolve the issue. But if they're a low-level para, or maybe one with a different personality type, they don't have the same ability to problem solve, so you only get social cards that cause more arguments. The decisions you make in Paramaker, and even more especially the ones you inherit through the genetic system, will alter what's easy or difficult to achieve. And personally, I think that's great. Genius, even. But it's not The Sims. It will never be The Sims. And if you want to claim that Paralives is a different experience, then it's time to acknowledge that Paralives is a different experience. While I am excited to see how this system expands, I'm also curious about the layer of difficulty they may have signed up for. I've had similar thoughts about animations. Currently, there is a flexible height slider in the game. There's at least a dozen increments of heights to choose from, which is amazing, but also means that currently, if you have a tall and short para kiss or hug, the animation is incredibly out of sync. If they only had 4 height options, for example, then they would only have to animate 4 variants for each height. But instead, they have over a dozen variants for the animations that they have to sync together. The same goes for interacting with objects. A tall para's hands will float above the piano while they're playing. Tall paras clip through the table when sitting down or getting up. The team will have to go through and adjust every single height possibility. I don't doubt their ability to pull this off or to put more cards into the game so socializing is more meaningful. But they do have their work cut out for them, and I do not envy them. That sounds like a lot of work. And with socializing, they may be dealing with something a lot more complicated than just simply having a pie menu. It's going to take a lot of work for it to be dynamic enough to feel like a full experience. When other reviews of the game mention managing your own expectations, I think that's true. But I also don't think it's the full picture. Categorizing Paralives as a life simulation for me was an inaccurate description of how the game works and feels. This framing allows me to enjoy and appreciate Paralives more. This is my own personal interpretation based on my experience playing the game, and I'm actually really curious to know if the Paralives team thinks that my theory is accurate. Now, whether or not I recommend this game is a very loaded question, so I don't even really feel comfortable answering that. Do I think I would have gotten the game at $40 US if I knew that it played a little bit more like an RPG than a life simulator? Probably not. But do I have the game in my possession, so I'm going to try to make the most out of it? Yes. So take that for what you will. So with all of that said, I just have one question for the Paralives team. When are we getting dice rolls? And if you guys like the way that my game looks in this video, it is because I have a G-shade preset that I made myself, and I put it down in the description if you would like to have it as well. I think it makes the game look really pretty. Thank you so much to my channel members and my patrons, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.